Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. It's Marie with Swipe in the City.
And you've got Michelle here in the studio.
The OG studio.
The OG studio.
We're not in our usual spot on the couch, but I'm not mad about it because you can stand.
I was about to say, I'm not sure why this is the first time we recorded with me being able to stand, but this feels right. This feels good.
Yeah, I don't know why we've never done this.
Probably because you're worried that I'm going to start doing another task. I'm going to be wondering, we're going to be recording and I act like I'm on the phone wandering around.
I would too because that's what I do when I'm on the phones, but I get it. Also, when we had stationary equipment, it would have been too hard.
True. Yeah, I feel like we should maybe reintroduce our guest. So this is his second time on the pod.
Yes.
I'm excited.
The first one was so much fun. So we've brought our TikToker, Kyle, at Calamity Kyle, back.
Hello.
Kyle, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We are good. I'm speaking for Michelle as well now.
Sometimes we speak in unison.
That's also good.
I worked from the office today, and I had legit probably 10 times the recommended daily intake of caffeine because they have nitro cold brew on tap, and I just keep going to the top. So I've been wired all day. I accomplished nothing.
That is dangerous. Work. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, at least it's not a Red Bull. My mom doesn't want me to drink Red Bull anymore.
I don't know if nitro is much better.
No, it's
worse. It's actually way better than caffeine. One of those is supposed to shoot you to the moon.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I've been there.
I'm a cold brew sounds really good right now, actually.
Honestly, yeah, but I need to go to bed. I can't be up until 6 in the morning like we were that one time.
Which time?
Well, it was the one time with the two of you, and then it was 4 a.m. with you. So here we are.
But I do want Kyle, give us a little tell the people a little bit more about you. If they didn't listen to your earlier episode, if they aren't following you yet, what's your deal? Why do we care?
Well, I'm pretty cool. That's why we care. But
we can attest.
My 9 to 5, I run a barbecue restaurant with my dad in San Antonio. But I am a part-time content creator on TikTok. I create food content, and it's really cool. I have I just hit the 91.5K followers. I think the last time we recorded, I was celebrating 80K. So that's an exciting milestone.
In a month's time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
10,000 people in a month. Thank you. I'm really excited about it.
I'm putting it out there right now. We are getting you to 100K by the time this episode releases.
Let's fucking go.
100%. Let's
go.
Do it.
100K by the time the episode releases.
Did y'all watch 20-somethings?
Okay, we started it.
I just want to be like Bruce all the time and be, let's go!
Oh my God, Bruce stresses me out.
I love him.
I feel kind of bad.
I'm going to stop yelling into the microphone.
But I've only 4 episodes. So, anyways, for those of you who don't know what 20-somethings is, it's a show on Netflix. It's my show. The only reason, at least speaking for myself, that we watch it is because it takes place in Austin. Other than that, there is not enough drama for it to be considered a fun reality show. So, unless you live in Austin, don't watch it.
From my personal opinion, I would choose Great British Bake Off over that show.
Interesting.
I would choose almost anything. That's mean. I did watch the whole season. It annoyed me.
Yeah.
And not in a good way, not in I'm annoyed because I want to know more about these characters. I was like,
I don't care.
My friends do more in a weekend. We have more chaos in our lives in a weekend than these people did in this whole season.
That's what I'm saying. It should have been 30-somethings, and we should have been on it.
It should have been 30-somethings from Lennox.
Yes.
It should have been us.
They literally,
we are so much more interesting. And, I don't know that we necessarily have a lot of drama for, reality, but we could.
They had zero drama.
They have literally none.
They healthily communicated their concerns with each other and then resolved all their issues.
Is this supposed to be a good example? That's not why I watch reality show. I watch reality show to make fun of everyone.
Oh God.
I watch reality shows for it to be oh my God, no, like, that is an alcoholic. Like, I'm chilling.
I'm fine. This is fine.
That person does not have their shit together. Like,
That bitch is
sits
crazy.
here. Also, this is no. Fuck. I just told someone about the podcast.
Speaking of situationships.
Oh. Is that what we're talking about today?
That is what we're talking about today. Go ahead.
Before we tell you, what do you think a situationship is, Kyle?
He says he doesn't know.
I don't. Based on the context from what we were talking about earlier, I would assume it's when you're just kind of like in relationship limbo. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if you're dating, if you're exclusive, because you haven't talked about it. I don't know. Enlighten me, someone, please. I'm curious.
Urban Dictionary. Yeah.
We're a very academic.
UrbanDictionary.com.
We love Urban Dictionary. Okay, situationship. Let's just chill, have sex, and be confused on the fact that we are not together, but have official emotions for each other.
Oof. Okay.
Right? Honestly,
I mean,
what, you don't agree?
No, I don't disagree, but I'm like, if that copy was presented to me, I would rewrite it.
It's Urban Dictionary, honey.
No, I know. Do you have another one?
So
I mean, there's plenty here. A form of relationship where neither party is completely sure of, quote, what they are. The period before the DTR.
what's DTR?
Discuss the relationship.
OMG.
Define
Oh,
relationship.
okay. Wow.
That I would 95% agree with.
I think that's the most clear definition.
Yeah.
The other one just sounds like that person.
Like you're just fuck buddies.
Right. Someone's just like, they didn't ever commit to anything, but I assumed.
Well, okay.
Me.
So,
disagree, but we'll unpack that in a minute.
for theoretical example, right? You start dating somebody, you're between 3 and 5 dates in, you like the other person, they probably like you, you're getting those mutual clues. Maybe you're sleeping together, but you haven't yet talked about, are we exclusive? Are we seeing each other? Are we seeing other people? Or do we want to be in a relationship? It is like you said, it's that limbo.
I think it's the gray area. I think sometimes you can be in a situationship and still have like clear communication, but you're still in that like you're not just friends,
right?
And you're not in a whatever a relationship, whatever that definition is, right? You're not in that, so you're kind of in this between. 10 years ago, I feel like this would have potentially been called like dating.
Right.
Yeah.
But now it's not, because when I think of dating, to me, if you say I'm dating this person, to me, that means relationship.
I disagree.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Yes, respectfully disagree.
If I told Daniela Hannah I was dating someone,
She would think that you were in a relationship, or she would think that you're going on dates with someone.
she would assume I was getting married.
Well, that's your mother, though. I think, so when I say I'm dating somebody, to me, that's like very early, like we're going out on a few dates.
Yes.
And I don't know, it's weird that I feel like when you say you're talking to somebody, it's more serious than dating, but...
See, for me, chronologically, like, talking is, like, the first stages. And then you go from talking to dating to, like, being exclusive.
Yeah.
Or not exclusive, depending on your, whatever your thing is. Yeah.
Or as I like to say, it's a thing.
Yeah. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I like that.
Or it's me being like, I don't want to talk about it. And you're like, oh,
yes.
shit. Oh, she likes him. It's like, no, I don't. No.
That
Absolutely.
would be a situationship for you, yes.
Well,
like I'm much different.
maybe it's a pre-situationship.
Yeah.
I'm just making things complicated so I can deny it. This is fine.
Moving on.
No, but so when I think of situationship, again, it's like you're, like you said, a couple dates in, you're hanging out consistently. You may or may not be physical to whatever degree, but consistently. Like, there's some, like, you're obviously not just friends, and there's a little friend in there.
I'm still alive.
great. Yeah, let's just let him talk.
Sorry, you're hanging out consistently.
But you haven't, as someone would say, like, defined the relationship or how to talk. Or, I think you can have certain conversations. Like, you could say, hey, I'm not looking to be in a committed relationship right now, or I'm not looking to have a boyfriend or a girlfriend right now, but I still like hanging out with you. And then the other person might say, you know what, same boat, that makes sense. Let's continue to hang out. That would definitely be like a situationship.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm just like, in a situation like that, like, what is expected? What is the end goal when two people are just quote unquote hanging out? Like, that's so confusing.
Well, that causes problems, but I would say that we haven't talked about this in a while. This was on like earlier podcasts, but like for me, if I'm in a relationship, to me that means I am not only committing like a certain amount of time, but also that means that I'm factoring that person into my decisions.
Fair.
Yeah.
Whereas a situationship,
you do what you want to do.
Yeah, you're independent.
Yeah. But like to me, a relationship, like I take like proper relationships very seriously. Like I think that there's a certain amount of like respect and consideration that goes into like, and again, when I say my decisions, it might be like whether I'm going to go out late on a Friday or I'm going to hang out with them, or whether
stay
it's
up
like
until 6 a.m. at
Right.
Kyle's. I think you're hit.
like stay up at 6 till Kyle's, which then affects the next day,
Right.
which then might mean I have to change plans, right? So like you have.
Sure. Basically you're thinking about somebody other than yourself.
And because of the way that I am, probably like putting them first sometimes, because I think a relationship's like give and take.
A little bit of
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is on the other side of situationships, it can be very communicative. People can be on the same page, and it can be very non-communicative. And most of the time, people are not on the same page, and there's a lot of confusion.
Yes.
Because it's hard. Like, no one wants to be rejected by the person they're like having feelings for.
Yeah.
I've been talking a lot. I don't know. Take it from there.
Okay. So not to bring up he who must not be named, but I will say that was one of the things in the early stage, like the situationship stages, like we did talk about what like our expectations were for what was happening. And we were very much on the same page. It was a situationship, but nonetheless, like I was still able to feel really secure in it. My problem with being in that stage is like my anxiety goes through the roof because unless we are communicating, I don't know. And I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, I'm an independent woman. I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. And if you get mad, I guess I kind of know a little bit better where you stand. You probably like me a little more than you want to admit.
Hey.
That's how we test the water.
Yeah. It's called a test. No, I don't do that anymore. I'm 30 years old. I don't test boys much.
Just 5. It's a 5-question. You survey. You don't test. 5 questions. 5 minutes of your time.
They also have an exit survey, but no, I think I just think like it gives me so much anxiety. That's my problem with situationships, and the fact that I think more often than not, it's not a communicative point of anything.
Yeah.
One thing too, I do want to point out for people who are like, who are listening to this that haven't been dating for the last couple of years or are new or whatever. Like one of my friends just got out of a 10-year marriage, and he just started dating again. So I'm probably gonna send this to him and be like, babe, here. But one of the things is that, at least for me, like I'm hooking up with somebody is different than a situationship.
Yes. That too. And friends with benefits, different than a situationship.
Well,
yes.
No, it is.
Where?
It is. No, it is. It is. Like, barely.
Barely, yeah, but like...
It's in the same bucket, but it's like, they're on different sides of the bucket.
Well, to me, like, if you're friends with benefits with somebody, there's probably some sort of communication around the fact that, like, this isn't going to be a relationship. Now... the fact that one person in that might think that being friends with benefits will lead to a relationship, that's another story. But assuming the communication is there, there's no, like, how often does friends with benefits lead to a relationship?
That's
like,
well, I was going to say, like, exactly. How often does a friends with benefits situation work out? You either,
2%.
yeah, like, it just doesn't.
Right.
I think
Yeah.
I think, like, as much as we want to be like, oh, sex is purely physical, like, there is, like, an emotional aspect tied to it. And when you sleep with someone regularly, you know, you build this kind of, like, intimate connection that is, it's more than a friendship, but if you're not in a relationship, I guess, friends with benefits, situationship, I don't know. I mean, it's murky water.
It is.
Well, I think when it comes to friends with benefits, what I've seen happen most is, like, I've got a homie, whatever, we're hanging out, like, hey, we're just gonna do this. It's convenient, right?
Let's fuck.
But what I've found is there are a few people that I've been able to be, like, genuinely friends with after. But what I've found is as soon as they get into a proper relationship, it's kind of weird. And then sometimes I don't know, like, if that person knows or doesn't know. Not that I would ever have a reason to bring it up.
Sure.
But I don't know if I should be, like, consciously aware of that, or, you know what I'm saying? So, like, so that's where I think it's interesting. Like, I have a friend now that's, like, one of my closest friends. We hooked up a couple times. Wasn't a thing, whatever, not a big deal. And we're homies. But when another person then comes into the picture down the road, that dynamic typically changes.
Totally.
Because sometimes it's like, oh, they know, and they have that in the back of their head. Or it's like, they don't know, and so there's, like, you have kind of a weird dynamic.
Well, and I think that depends. I think there's some communication to be had between the two people that we're fucking.
Of course.
I think that's important. Find out where the other, like, that also kind of gives you a little bit of context to what their perception of that, whatever it was, the friends with benefits situationship, whatever that was, it gives you more perception of that. And so if they, honestly, like, I feel like if they don't tell the person, well, I guess it can go both ways, right? Like, they cannot tell the other person because it means a lot, or they cannot tell the other person because it meant nothing. So maybe I'm just talking in circles.
I mean, I have a good example. So
You wave the mic about.
Me or him?
You.
Okay, fine. Maybe I need a mic stand.
Yeah.
Just like a standing one.
I have a good example. Someone I've been friends with for a long time. We had a, like, one-time situation a bajillion years ago. Mm-hmm. And a different friend brought it up to me because that person's now in a serious relationship, and they were like, "Oh, does she know?" And I'm like, "It's been so long."
Yeah,
that was like a, whatever, late 20s, early 20s, whatever. Yeah. We are late 20s. Well, we're not, but
we are not 20 something.
I was like, saying, none of us are 20.
The thing is that, like, it was brought up to me, and it caught me so off guard because I was like, there's really no reason for it, because the physical contact happened so long ago.
Right.
We've been friends without physical contact. And if we wanted, like, if we had a romantic connection, we would have pursued that. Yeah. And we didn't, because we're not. But, like, so it was just weird to me that it got brought up. But I do get it, because if I was like, Kyle and I were in a situationship.
Okay.
And Marie,
in Daniela's dreams.
Yeah. But, and then we're in a situationship. Or no. You and Kyle hooked up last week. No, they didn't, but.
This is all hypothetical. I'm still very, very gay.
He's being used as a man in this situation.
I'm Michelle's fake boyfriend when we go out. It works.
Yeah.
Does it?
No.
Okay, so hypothetically, Kyle and I are in a situationship. We're maybe about to start dating, and him and Marie hooked up 5 years ago when they first met, and they've been friends ever since. To me, irrelevant.
Sure.
Kyle and I are in a situationship. We're looking to be like a monogamous couple, and y'all have fucked every weekend for the last year.
Different.
Relevant.
Yeah. Okay. Real scenario. Like I can't take you seriously right now.
So Marie and I are in a relationship.
Yeah, actually, we wanted to use this as a way to let everybody know. That's why we speak in unison on a regular basis.
When is the wedding? Can I officiate?
Oh my god,
love that for me.
Also, if I do ever get married.
Oh, there's a wait list.
Well,
I can officiate more than one wedding.
Aren't we marrying each other?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Well, then
I would officiate the same wedding. It'd be fine.
we still win. Anyways.
I love this for us.
Yeah, I do too. Are you ordained?
No, but I can be.
I love that. Yes, please get ordained.
Can we pimp you out to do weddings?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
We'll circle back to that. Sorry,
Yeah.
finish your thoughts.
All right, so real situation. So one of my first friends here in Austin, actually. So we became friends. We're super tight in the same friend group, kind of similar to the way that our apartment dynamic is here, very, very casual, kind of collegiate almost, and lots of sexual tension between him and I. We didn't hook up for a while, actually, shockingly. And I'm like, did I have self-control when I was younger and not now?
This is hilarious because you are outing yourself right now, and normally it's me. And this goes in line with us switching role. We Freaky Friday, y'all.
Yeah,
Y'all really have.
It's fucking. I'm dead. Okay. So we started hooking up, and it was a very casual, friends with benefits hookup situation. Okay, we're drunk, it's happening. There weren't really a whole lot of plans that were involved. It wasn't very intimate, for lack of a better way to put it.
It sucks.
No, actually, it was fucking fantastic.
I was like, if it sucks, she wouldn't keep going back for more.
Sometimes it's convenience, baby.
No, trust me, it was great.
Do not laugh in unison with me.
He was there to serve a purpose.
Yes. Well, okay, and obviously because we are friends, there's other things going on, whatever. He started dating this girl, and I met her kind of on accident, but not to get into the nitty gritty of that whole situation, but to me it was hey, I have a girlfriend now, and I'm like, cool, can I meet her? It's to me, that's not a big deal, but I think that was just the nature of where our friendship was and our understanding of one another. But again, that ties back to communication. And I think if we had less of a conversation about it, and it had been kind of an awkward way to find out, I think that it would have been weird.
Yeah, I wanted to do a little bit of a callback. Going back to what you were talking about, if the communication had been different, the circumstances would have been different.
Yes.
And I want to do a callback to the last episode we did do with Kyle, where we talked about open relationships. Again, and this is a different context, but this is just really hammering in how important it is to communicate. And also I think part of the problem with communication is that people are just they're nervous or they're scared.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
To communicate what they actually want or are interested in or are doing. And that's I don't want to say that's a percentage of why I think people do cheat, because they're too scared to say, I want an open relationship or I want to explore.
That I don't want to be with you anymore.
Or to leave. Yeah. All of those things. Or with a friends with benefits situation, part of what happens a lot of times is someone wants to date, someone, so they put a move on them. Then the other person's like, "Hey, I'm only down to hook up," and they're like, "This is fine." And I said that in a female voice, but like it could be on either side.
Sure.
Because they're hoping that it turns into something.
Right. It won't.
But that's like, and I mean, like hooking up wasn't even necessarily part of the equation, but like that's like Jurassic Park a year ago.
You're wearing the shirt too.
I'm not. The shirt has nothing to do with him, but I'm
But
wearing.
Is Jurassic Park another nickname?
It's
Okay.
like a name for a dude she dated. Like God,
we did
a year ago.
We did kind of. We didn't date.
Did you go on multiple outings?
You dated. They dated.
So what had happened was.
What happened
And
was.
we've mentioned him on the pod a couple of times. He also popped up on LinkedIn today.
Aww.
No, so what happened was like, so we met. He was like moving to Austin.
From a dating app.
We met on Tinder. We went on a date. We did make out. We never actually like hooked up though, but we did make out.
Making out is fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
But he went back to LA the next day. But we just had a fucking great time. Like we
what
had
was with you in California
and a particular job type. Yeah, we'll come back to that.
We'll circle back. Has been the theme.
This is why we don't record on weekdays.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, it doesn't matter. But so my whole point is that like we were hanging out a lot and not necessarily having like physical contact, but we would like go hang out at a brewery for a few hours. I'd bring Blue. Like we were honestly, now I can admit it, like we were essentially going on dates.
You were.
And we were like having the dynamic of dates, but I just didn't have that like what I would say is like a proper chemistry with him.
You weren't feeling it.
I wasn't like
It wasn't
I
the
really,
match.
really like enjoyed hanging out with him, but there wasn't that chemistry, and I feel like chemistry gets overplayed, but like it's important, and I think it means something different to different people.
Yeah.
But for me, that wasn't there. And so it kind of came down to this point where we had to have a conversation, and he basically like, and he was a very direct communicator as well, which I appreciate, but he was basically like, yeah, I actually had intended to hang out with you yesterday to like tell you I can't hang out with you because I have feelings for you, and I can't like
Just be friends.
continuously be friend zoned. Because I friend zoned him multiple times in terms of being like, hey, I know we made out yesterday.
I was going to say, like,
you know what? This is going to make me sound like a piece of shit, but I think it's important.
No,
like,
but I mean, yeah, like the way that the dynamic was, like at the very beginning, situationship, right? You had the talk with him. You said friends, agreed, right, or whatever, loosely. And then there were some mixed signals from there. So I guess at that point, like it does continue to be a situationship versus friends with benefits, in my opinion.
Well, what I feel like is maybe important to say is like I was absolutely giving not even just like mixed signals, but and it wasn't intentional. I wasn't like trying to be a fuckboy, but I was genuinely like my actions were so different from my words.
Yeah.
And I can like see that in hindsight, and I realize that, and I do realize like, and that's the reason I'm kind of like saying it now is like being self-aware of that in the moment and understanding. I think it's important, and I think it's easy to be like, well, no, I told them this, and it's
That's
like
what fuckboys do. They lean on that.
if you told them you're just friends, and then you're like, yeah, let's like cuddle and watch a movie for 3 hours, like. And make out. It's like that's if you, and especially once you realize that they do have feelings for you, it's sticky.
I think the second you realize the other person caught the feelings, it changes the dynamic. I think you need to be a lot more careful. Personally, and I speak from experience, having been on the receiving end of people not being careful.
I've only been on that end of it.
Well, you have a recent story. Is that a good segue into it?
Yeah, I mean we can. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, like, I mean,
It's not just the Michelle show.
It's not just the Michelle show.
Or the Marie show.
Or the Marie show. We're going to make it the Kyle show. Watch me become a full-time host.
Yeah.
No,
Part of the fam now.
So no, I mean, I was seeing a guy. I would use the term dating a guy recently, or so I thought. You know, we matched on Hinge, or no, I'm sorry, we matched on Scruff, which typically is more geared towards physical encounters.
For the heteros in the room, will you describe Scruff?
Scruff, so basically when you log into Scruff, you have a grid of photos, and it's all GPS based on like who is closest to you. And you don't have to necessarily match with someone. You can message anyone on the app at any point in time. So I had messaged this guy like right before I moved down here from where I was at. And we like were hitting it off. We exchanged phone numbers, and I was like, "Hey, I'm fixing to move. I'm going to be kind of busy for the next week or so, but you know, I'd love to hang out." And also on your profile, you can put if you're looking for sex, if you're looking for a relationship. Some people use it for the latter. You know, most people use it for sex. But we both seem to be on the same page. Like, hey, we're going to go meet up and go get coffee. And, you know, coffee led to, well, hey, let's go get breakfast tacos tomorrow. And,
So cute.
like, let's hang out. Let's watch a movie and, like, cuddle on the couch and make out. And, you know, in my mind, like, the situationship itself, you know, kind of was already defined. You know, like, we're going through the motions. We're being intimate. We are going on dates. Like, in my mind, we're dating. And there was some, like, gray area. Like, it was sometimes, like, pulling teeth to find free time in his schedule to hang out because he was wanting to hang out with his friends, or he was busy with work, or he was playing softball and this and this and that. And so it's like, I don't know, it got harder and harder to hang out with him. Long story short, you know, yes, go ahead.
Before we get to, because you're cruising to the end of the story.
Yeah.
But we're gonna.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna take a detour.
We're
gonna
hanging
take a
on to every
detour.
word.
We're gonna take a detour.
Are we?
What's a detour?
Well, because you just mentioned some of those things where you're like, oh, like sometimes it was like hard to get time to hang out.
Right.
I wanna
Elaborate on that.
Let's
unpack that.
I was gonna say let's unpack that.
Let's circle back.
But just because, so this is an educational podcast.
Three people who have no idea what they're doing are teaching you how to date.
We will never say it with a straight face ever. Yeah.
But okay, I always think about. We are not allowed to record on weekdays anymore.
No.
I was like,
why?
tactical. Because I was gonna be like, so tactical advice. No, but what I think is important, and I'll let you finish your story after that, is like, hey, these are like specific things to look for. These are like red flags. These are like things. And so some of the things that I noticed as your friend would be, and some of the things that I think are very, very common in this type of situation are I've got this, and that. Let's hang out later. But they don't give you a specific date or time, right? So these are just things to like kind of be aware of if you're in this situation. Again, if you're like newer to dating or back in the scene or whatever the case may be, I think one of the things to kind of look for if you're not sure, if you don't know, like, is this a situationship? Is this friends with benefits? Are we just friends? Are we married? Like,
you'll know if you're married.
I feel like I could be in a situation where I didn't, and I'm like,
that also feels right for you.
Shit.
All of a sudden, there's like a marriage certificate.
like, shit.
Like, good morning. Who are you?
That's what you get for waking up in
Or
Vegas.
like, wait, did I agree to this? Did I? And then it's like you and like a couple of other like close
there's
friends.
like
like,
videos.
Michelle. No, not even from that perspective. Like, yes, Michelle, you agreed to this.
And I don't
Over
even know.
for 10 months, for a year.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
over and over. And I'm just like mid breakdown. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm unsure. Do you think he even likes me?
You wake up the night after the wedding, and it's like me and Kyle in bed with you. And like,
Amazing.
I love that.
Amazing.
I love that for us.
Yes.
Anyways.
But a couple of the things that I just wanted to say that could be like signs or flags or whatever for people would be like if they constantly reschedule, or if you say, hey, I would love to hang out with you. When are you free? And they don't give you a time. Like those types of things, again, not that I'm saying specific to, not like
Right.
you were trying to hang out and it was casual, so it doesn't, it's what it is. But for other people who might be in that kind of like, the situation might not be what they think it is.
Yeah.
The scheduling and the timing, I think, is big because I'm an insanely fucking busy person. And I don't I have basically a job. I have a side job. We have the podcast. I volunteer. I have a dog and I'm expected to feed myself. This is why my apartment doesn't get cleaned. That is last on my list. But yeah, so you were talking about y'all had been like hanging out consistently.
Yeah, I mean, it was like at least once a week we would hang out, if not more. And like over the course of like 3 to 3.5 months, this was going on. And we're texting each other every day. He's sending me good morning texts. I'm sending him good morning texts. So in my mind, things are going well. They were moving a little bit slower, like physically, than I would have liked them to, but we had a conversation about it, and I'm like, cool, that's fine, we're on the same page. And then just like out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, what are you doing this weekend? Let's hang out on Saturday if you're free. And I get met with the, yeah, I'm free, but I feel like I should let you know I'm not really looking to date anyone right now. Womp, 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 womp. Like
The 3 month. That's the
Yes.
3 month rule.
Is that the 3-month rule?
Every Taylor Swift song is about that.
Okay,
Well,
this
not
might be something new to me.
This is a Marie Taylor Swift thing. I don't know what she's talking about.
Okay, I'm like, what is going on?
But
I'll explain offline.
But one thing, again, I would like to point out is that y'all weren't. This is where I was kind of thrown off too with your situation. Like, it's fine.
We can cut your audio; it'll be fine.
No, it's fine. It just goes with the
It is what it is.
authenticity. Y'all weren't. If you would have told me like, yeah, he came over to watch a movie, we hooked up, or yeah, like we just had lunch again, or we just had a drink and then we went our separate ways.
Yeah.
Whatever. But what throws me off is like y'all went on dates.
Yeah.
Y'all planned specific date type activities consistently over the course of months.
May I?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and that's where I say like 3 months. I've heard on podcast upon podcast, I don't know what it is about 3 months, but for some reason, when you're in a situationship for 3 months, it's going to go one of 2 ways.
Fair.
It's either going to go into a relationship at that point or it's not. And I feel like that's the point where what his perspective was like, oh no, this is absolutely not going to be a relationship. Now he's like, okay, like now we're more invested. I need to tell him we need to talk about this before it gets further.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, to Michelle's point too, like it sounds like there was a lot of like actual like connection, perhaps.
Yeah.
And it seems a little bit like it came out of nowhere, but I mean, I feel like that happens all the time in situationships, and that's why they stop.
Yeah. I mean, this was the first guy that I had like really like I hadn't dated in like 1.5 years since I separated with my ex. So when we talked about in the last episode, and I was totally fine being single. I am fine being single. I'm successful, and I keep a tidy home. And
yeah, you are.
I am the only company.
We don't have to point out the tidy home.
I know that's just not even as a dig to you. Like that's just like one of my things. Like it's just like you define success as someone who can like keep their shit together and like maintain their day to day. And like for me, like one of the things I love to do is clean my house, and like it's a very adult thing. But anyways, besides the point, like. Damn it, I got so distracted.
3 months felt like a relationship, or like it was heading towards one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Michelle and I had talked about it several times, and I was like, do I need to have this conversation? Maybe, probably, but I'm not going to. Who wants to have that conversation?
No.
What are we?
I definitely told you for about 2 weeks.
I know.
But not, again, what are we isn't necessarily, like, yeah, that's how some people describe it, but that's not necessarily what it is. It's more so like, and
The question has a stigma.
I was going to say, if you don't quote Jared, I will.
But basically what he says is, like, put your shit out there. Be like, hey, this is where I stand. And then you have to give them the space, and you have to respect whatever their answer is.
Yeah.
You and I, we talked about that. Oh God, I feel like this is gonna bite me in the ass in like a month, and it's fine.
Then don't do it.
No, I'm saying it. No, I'm saying in my own situation.
Here we are.
But like y'all are gonna be like, Michelle, what would you say to you? And I'm gonna be like, God damn it. But to your point though, too, what I think you were getting at is like, you were excited.
Yes, exactly. It was the first time I had dated in a long time. And it was the first time someone had caught my attention enough to like want me to pursue them.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, do you? Oh, really? But so it was exciting, you know, and it was almost like not like you're, you know, a teenager dating again, but like, you know, you're fresh on it and it's like, cool, this is fun. There's some mutual attraction. There's some chemistry.
Yeah.
We're, you know, adults. I'm 31. He's 29. We're past the playing games phase, you would think.
Theoretically.
So I don't know. I didn't get a whole lot of closure from it because he's like, you're a great guy and I still want to hang out with you. But I'm just not looking to date anyone right now. And I'm just like, what have we been doing? Like, I'm not asking you to commit much more time to me than you are. You know, once a week is fine for me because, like you said, we're busy people. We have an active social life on the weekends. We are all killing it at our jobs. And we have our side hustle. I mean, you guys have the podcast. I've got TikTok. And to make time for someone, you know, like once a week is plenty.
Yeah.
But, you know, it just came out of left field. And I'm over it now. But at the time, I was just like, what the fuck?
I think what kills me is like the timeline.
Yeah.
For me, it's the timeline. Because to me, like 3 months of consistently hanging out with someone is basically like a long-term relationship. But so my point is that like my thing is, it seems like if that's where he was at, that should have been, because he communicated, to be fair.
Yeah, no, and I appreciate it.
But to me, that should have come up before you guys spent like an entire Saturday together after already having hung out like for a month and a half.
Right.
It's one thing to like accidentally stumble. Yes. To your caller here.
So I started reading this book for work called Crucial Conversations. There may be a book club on it if I can get Mike, the producer, to read it too.
I might consider it.
I won't get into my feelings on the book itself, but there are some really valuable points that it brings up. One of which, like, these are things that I think you and I, especially being really direct, kind of like we have internalized.
Right.
That I've kind of realized, like, I'm like reading the book and I'm like, yeah, duh, why doesn't everybody do this? But like you talking about that situation and the way that his like quote unquote ending it is, you're a great guy, like I want to continue something or other. It's a way to soften the blow. It's a way for him to not feel like the bad guy. He's not lying. You're fucking awesome.
And we know it.
But like, it's also, you know, it doesn't help the situation.
Yeah.
And it, like you said, it doesn't give you any closure. So if he were more honest, even to be as direct to say, as our favorite Jared Fried says, we are not the match, which is what it sounds like. At the end of the day, like that's what that interaction sounds like, is what he's saying.
Yeah. I feel
for whatever reason.
Yeah, I just feel like I didn't get like the full truth in that explanation.
Because it's not. It's bullshit. Like, it's not because he's too busy. It's not because he thinks you're great and he wants to be friends, but he's not ready for a relationship. No. Because if he were to find the perfect guy tomorrow, no offense, but he would be in a relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
He would.
And that's fine. Like, I just wish he would have had the balls to say that. But at the same time, I didn't have the guts to ask him to define our relationship or what it was. So
And that's where crucial conversations come in.
He did still buy me a Christmas gift after the fact, though, which I found very confusing.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Kyle also bought him a Christmas gift.
Well, I had ordered his months ago.
Who gave it to who first?
When he texted me that, I was like, well, I had ordered you a gift a couple weeks ago. I still want to give it to you. And he's like, yeah, no, for sure. He's like, I have a gift for you too, which I was like, what do you? But I mean, he got me it was really cute. He got me a kitchen towel that has these cute little animations of buns in the oven, and they're puns on butts.
It was very nerd. Honestly, that also confused me. That was such a
very
thoughtful. It was such a thoughtful thing. No, not but it was such a thoughtful thing to do.
Yeah.
And he was like, "You can use them in your TikToks." Because he got me a cute little oven mitt too.
Oh, that's cute. That is cute.
So,
but
besides the
also,
point,
mixed signals.
Very.
That's.
He's doing what I did to Jurassic Park for a lot of last year.
And I think that, honestly,
we're just friends. Let's make out.
I think that's a key factor in a situationship, though, is those mixed signals, because people are saying one thing and doing another, and it's that just seems to be a theme in the conversations at that point of dating, where they're like, okay, what are we? So
yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of funny because now that we've talked through this in these different ways, I do think it's really interesting because the situationship is kind of the catch-all, right?
Mm-hmm. Totally.
But it really is. I think it's communication that gets you to one side or the other.
Shocker.
But it's also those mixed signals where I don't need to say it again. Repeatedly. But where, again,
spit it out, baby girl.
At least in my experience that I was describing earlier, what I was like, I'm being clear. I'm communicating. Yeah. I'm being direct. Because logical,
right.
Daytime Michelle was sending very specific messages. And I was like, cool. But I was kind of ignoring the fact that I was also texting this person throughout the day, every day. I was sharing wins with them. I was doing
sharing wins,
guys. But I think situationships get tricky because it captures that gray area between first time you hang out or being friends and something defined, whatever defined looks like for you. I feel like as we wrap, so Marie can go the fuck to bed.
I know, that's way past your bedtime.
You've had a busy week.
What?
You've had a busy week.
I know. I've been up late too.
She's been up late. She texted me at midnight the other day and I was in bed and I was like, who are we?
Excuse me?
But
this is fine.
We'll talk about this later.
Well, on that note, if we were to, let's wrap this up. If you were to give someone a piece of advice who currently feels like they're in a situationship, feels a little bit of anxiety, maybe unsurety, or they know exactly where they stand, but they want something different. Either one of those, what would you say first, Cal?
Well, I think that my advice to someone in a situationship, if you're questioning it, if you have anxiety about it, if you're unsure about it, just, have the hard conversation. Because if you have it early on, it's going to save you from getting hurt in the long run. If you do have feelings for this person, or vice versa, if they have feelings for you and you're not reciprocating it.
Michelle, what did you, I think I can talk now. It's what you told me on Sunday, right? You were you are going to stew over this.
Yes.
If you don't say anything.
So it's what I told you on Sunday, and it's exactly what I told Kyle for 3 weeks in his situation. That's why I was making a face at you earlier.
Oh yeah, is that why?
Okay, but okay.
No. Not that I'm saying. I didn't mean to put it in that way.
No. But I mean, let's also just own the fact that it's not easy.
It's hard.
It's really, really hard to have these conversations,
and it's scary.
Because you're vulnerable. You're speaking to somebody you're having the conversation because you don't know 100%
Correct.
Where they are. So you're putting your feelings on the table, which, as we all know, means you can get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think the mindset for a lot of people is like, okay, let me not have this conversation.
Right.
Now I'm pushing off getting hurt. Really, all you're doing is prolonging it. You're just, instead of getting hurt today, you're going to get hurt in 3 months. You're going to get hurt tomorrow, like whatever. It's going to happen.
No, absolutely. And
Sorry, that was also kind of dark.
No, that's the reality. And that's also like, I'm sitting here being like, well, Kyle, we talked about this, but again, to get real for a second, like, you had genuinely like developed feelings for this person.
Yeah.
You were excited. I think for all of us, for what I know, like, the hardest part is that I think we're all like very independent and we're busy. And this, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. So when you do open up like a little bit and then you let yourself get excited and then something happens, it's like, it's devastating. Like, it's a very dramatic word to use, but that's kind of like a podcast guy from a year ago. It was the first time in a long time that I had actually like let myself get excited. Yeah. And it didn't work out, which is fine. Yeah. But I had to have a conversation because he was moving, right? So I had to person up, have the conversation, and because I was like, but I think it's, I will also say, if you're listening to this and you're in one of these situations, we make it sound easy. It's not.
It's so not.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right. And I feel like, we have like, we're very direct people, but we still have these group texts. We still have our own panic attacks. We still have full days where we are like freaking the fuck out about something as simple as a text.
Well, and I mean, how much easier is it? It's easier said than done. Like, Michelle, it's easier for you to tell me, just text him, than it is for if you were in my situation to actually send the text.
Absolutely.
100%.
So, I mean, anybody who is in this situation, like, give yourself some grace.
Yes.
I don't know, Google how to communicate or something. I don't know. Read Crucial Conversations, because honestly, I think it is probably really useful. But it's because it is at the end of it, like, these conversations are actually going to benefit you in the long run more than they are going to hurt you in the short term.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, I love it though.
That's a TED Talk.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, regardless of how that relationship or situationship ends up, you know, you're going to be out of a situation that you're not going to invest any more time or energy into, that's not going to be reciprocated earlier, so that you can meet someone else. And if you have the conversation and it goes well, then you know,
you are.
Yeah. But I think you have to be prepared for either outcome.
Right.
And I feel like I yell at y'all and like with everyone, I'm like, wait, I don't do this, but just like have some grace with yourself on timing too. The worst feeling is being like, oh, well, I should have done it this or that, you know. But at the end of the day, like, we make decisions for a reason. I mean, I was in a relationship for 6 years that didn't work out.
Yeah.
But it was what it was. I was in the right place for that time. And I think, like, in some of these situations, like, don't be too hard on yourself, because I think that can also suck, where you're like, oh, I just wasted 3 months. It's like, no, you hopefully had good moments. You enjoyed. Yeah. And
well, in every situation.
That's what Larry says.
everything
you still
is a learning.
Fucking text me his number, bitch. I've been out of therapy for like 6 weeks. Actually, I'm thriving right now. Maybe maybe I shouldn't go back.
No, it's fine. This is fine.
On that note, can we?
I literally have his contact open to send to you. Anywho, Michelle, where can people find us?
Swipe and the city across platforms. Kyle, where can people find you?
My handle is Calamity Kyle, CALAMITYKYLE. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and I think that's
all
it.
The things.
Yeah, all the things.
And I'm at Maria R. Carlson. Everywhere.
Where it matters.
Yeah, where it matters.
And that's a wrap.
And I was going to ask about yours, but that's fine.